The 2024 NFL Draft is only hours away. The one mock draft that you have all been waiting for. Watch, discuss, and join us at 8 PM Eastern, 1 PM UK time for the live draft itself.
Let's kick things
100%.
off with Chicago.
Chicago Bears drum roll. Ding, 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 ding. The number one pick is in. The Chicago Bears select LSU quarterback. No, I'm just joking. Nah, it's going to be Caleb Williams. Pre-draft hype. I mean, for the past 2 seasons, he's been the number one overall pick to go. Chicago Bears got rid of Justin Fields to draft Caleb Williams. Offensively, they already have the pieces there. Whereas before it was like a bit of a hard situation to sell. I think after seeing the off-season moves they've made, I think Caleb is happy knowing, hey, listen, right now it's just the organization. I know the players on the field are good. You've got a defensive-minded head coach who, when he's calling the plays, will call a good defense. And you've got playmakers on offense. So this is like one of the best situations a first-round pick can go into. So I think Caleb is more than happy to play for Chicago, and I think that's the pick they go for.
Number 2 on the clock with Washington. And here there's Drake May and there's Jaden Daniels, and we've done our QB rankings and our QB series. And I know in our consensus, Jaden was the second overall QB. But I know my co-host will you have your reservations about Drake May, but there are reports.
There's no reservations here.
That's putting it lightly. That's putting it lightly. So, and then there's also rumors about JJ McCarthy. But I think whenever a quarterback played college football for 5 years and they have outstanding resume, especially their final season, and can put up a Heisman campaign with those weapons, people might say, why didn't he do it in his previous seasons? I'll say, why didn't Malik Neighbors and Malik Neighbors and the other wide receiver from
Thompson Jr. LSU?
Brian the other receiver. Yeah. Why didn't they put up the numbers they put up the year before Jaden got there? That's the question you go ask yourself, because if you say it's because he had great receivers, the receivers were not putting numbers without Jaden being there. Jaden got there and they're all eating. So at the end of the day, I'll go Jaden Daniels. I'll draft him here at number 2. Washington take Jaden Daniels.
Patriots. All right, there's a lot of like mock drafts online. And to be honest, they need a quarterback. But I think, I'm going to go with the QB pick here. And I think it's going to be the wrong pick. But, the Patriots are just going to be the Patriots. The thing is, once you've had like a generational talent at QB that does amazing things, the ownership become enamored with people that look like him, maybe move a little bit like him. I'm going to actually say they're going to take Drake May, and they're going to hurt their friend.
Wait. Before you take it, ring. Pick up the phone. This is Kwesi Adolf-Mensah. I'm the GM for the Vikings. Elliot Wolf, I know you want to take Drake, and I'm calling here, and I'm here to give you an offer for Drake. I know the Patriots, you guys have a lot of needs. So here I am. I'm calling. I'm telling you, I'm going to give you 11. I'll give you 23. I'll give you a first-round pick next year. So that's 3 first-rounders. You get 2 this year, 1 first-round pick next year. In exchange for 3, I'm going to take 3, pick number 3, and then give me pick number 180.
I think I can see them doing that, because the Patriots always traditionally trade down. And that, like I said, they still have a Patriot culture, Bill Belichick's culture in that organization. So they're always looking for value. And a QB going into this system with what type of playmakers are we calling? Have they got anyone on the outside? Have they got runners? I don't really see anything there. So I think it's like a bad situation if you bring someone in. So I think you're right there, Pete.
I'm willing to put in 3 picks because Drake May is our guy. And, I know... Listen, he's our guy. Our coaches know him. We have the receivers for him. We have Jefferson. We have Jordan Addison. Even if listen, come on, be a hero for the Patriots. This is 3 first-round picks. You guys ain't
Yeah,
gonna
this
look.
this
I'm
is
on
a
the
typical
ammunition.
Patriots move. This is a typical Patriots move. They need to build an organization. They need to build an offense. They need playmakers. They need to recover from failing in the draft with regards to offensive weapons, especially receivers. There's a big receiver draft. They could definitely get some guys first and second round that can reshape that offense. So I think that's probably what's going to
Would you
happen.
take my offer?
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will. Patriot way, man. Trade back, get value, build from there. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that. So yep. So Drake May is going to Minnesota.
At number 4, Arizona Cardinals. I'm not gonna talk a lot. We all know what's happening here. Yes, we might have trade offers. The Giants might want to come up. I think at this point the Giants don't need to come up. There might be teams that might want JJ McCarthy. But I'm looking at the offers here, and even if Drake May made it to 4, I wasn't gonna do it. I'm taking Marv. I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, I've heard Malik Neighbors might be better, Romo Dunze might be better, but Marv is a standard. Marv is a prototype.
Can't go wrong.
And
Work
it's
on
Marvin
any
Harrison
offense.
Jr. no matter what.
Yep.
So yeah.
Can't
So
work
what are you
on
back
any-
on the clock at 5? Chargers. Who are you going with?
Chargers. Okay, cool.
Think
So
about Harbaugh and the offense that he runs. So let's
yeah, I think I can see the Chargers taking a shot at an offensive lineman, offensive tackle. Like I said, he likes the trenches. Offensively, like they can get a receiver late, but I think what they want to do is keep Herbert healthy. They want to keep him upright. He builds from the trenches going out. If it's not a defensive guy, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of good defensive players, but I think taking them this high in the draft, there's going to be options later on. I think they probably go with Joe Alt over here.
Okay, but a bit of a surprising pick for the Giants here. So I'm gonna go with Rome Odunze,
Okay.
wide receiver from Washington.
Mhm.
And my rationale for picking Rome Odunze is because Malik Neighbors is universally known as the second, or even some people know as the best wide receiver in the draft class. But I'm looking at getting somebody, that can win contested catches, somebody that can, have a little bit height to him in our offense, because we tried it with Kenny Golladay and it didn't work. So let's try it with Rome Odunze and see how it goes. So New York Giants goes with Rome Odunze.
Yeah. So I think either way, I think there's 2 choices here. Well, really 3. They either go with a tight end.
This tied Calvin Ridley to a big money deal.
Okay, all right. So that tells me that so yeah, that's true. Calvin Ridley. So they've got their 1 and 2. They've got their slot. So they've got some action
I'm
there.
just reminding you sign a wide receiver.
This is offensive line. This is offensive line. I think they go with Tializi Fugawa from Oregon State.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Because I think this is more of like a team need. Maybe a bit too early. Maybe they could trade down. Who knows? Because there's still some guys on the board. They might be able to trade down if they're going to take that guy. If they're going to take a tackle, they might be able to trade down. But if they have, like I said, I think they need to shore up that line. Just like you said, they've got their weapons. They need to shore up the line. So
8.
Defense. Gotta see defenders now.
Well, maybe not necessarily. Maybe by offensive firepower.
They're stacked, man. They've got tight ends, they've got receivers, they've got running backs, solid offensive line, workable. They're gonna run the ball anyway. They've got a safe QB. They need defense, man. We're gonna start seeing defenders, obviously starting from the inside out. You sure as hell ain't taking a linebacker. So we know it's either going to be a defensive lineman or secondary. And I think it's a bit too early to take a corner right now. So I think their hands tipped.
Okay, so Falcons pass rush. So over the past couple of years, the Falcons clearly they need help on defense. Raheem Morris being a new head coach. Terry Footnote, the GM. We need to bolster our pass rushing department, and this class have a great group of edge rushers. But when I look at the talent and the production of the edge rusher from UCLA, Layatu Latu, and his productiveness, I'm a little bit the medicals is something that we're gonna have to check on a weekly basis to make sure that it's all good to go by the medicals checkout. So with this pick, it's just really hard. I mean, I'm not. It's just really hard. I'm considering Atilatu and Byron Murphy for the defensive line, but we do have Grady Jarrett, who's a veteran defensive tackle that could help us out on the interior. But we literally don't have nothing on our edges. Our edges are really bad. So I'll go Latu. I want someone that can come in and give me production right away to get our team to start winning, because this division is prime. And I believe that with Kirk Cousins, we can compete with the Bucks and maybe win the division. So we go Latu at 8.
Okay, there we go.
Back to you with the Bears.
That's Atlanta Falcons. So the Bears get to pick again.
I'm going to propose a trade here. So I'm calling you. You're Ryan Poles. You're the GM for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So I'm calling you, and I want number 9. So I want to come up to number 9, right?
Yep.
So we'll swap picks. I'll give you 12. You take 9, and I'm gonna give you 12.
Yep.
A second next year. So you get 12 second round pick next year.
Yep.
And I'll throw in a 4th round pick for number 9. Actually, hold on a second, because I'm looking at your picks, right? Chicago surprisingly have 3 picks this year. They only have 9, 75, and 122, right? So I think you might want.
I think we do it. I think we try and get some more options this year. Yeah.
So okay, so you'll be asking for more picks this year than next year, right? Because next year you're still loaded with picks anyway. So I'll give you 12, and I'll give you 121, which is our 3rd round pick. I'll give you 145, and I'll give you a second next year.
Yeah, so that's fine. I'll take that. I still think even if we drop down by
Denver comes up to 9, and I was 12, so you pick at Chicago when we get to 12.
Yeah, cool.
For Chicago. So Denver's coming up, and Denver hasn't made their pick yet. So this is Sean Payton. I forced the move, and I finally get one of the guys that I wanted in this draft. So I come up, and I'm gonna take JJ McCarthy from Michigan. He's a young guy that I believe we can groom, the 4th quarterback in this draft.
He's upset.
Up next, that's me picking for the Jets.
Who do you think's gonna get it?
So the debate in our war room right now, the Jets GM Joe Douglas, we're just thinking, are we going Malik Neighbors? Or are we taking Brock Bowers? There's also Olimiyiwa Fashanu, who's also a left tackle. Yes, we signed Tyron Smith by going all in, but we need an insurance policy too at 10. But Brock Bowers is sitting there, and he
could
best
tight ends out in a long time.
A very, very good weapon, a very, very good piece for our offense, because similarly we don't have a bona fide superstar tight end. In an offense. They just take Brock Bowers. We take Brock.
Boom. Yeah, there we go.
Patriots
Chargers are next, right? Oh no, Patriots are 11.
Because you traded down.
Okay, so
with Minnesota, so you got 11.
We've been picking real bad with our wideouts these past couple of years. We've missed it every single time. You don't need to name the names. We're just going to go for the best player available at that position. This is a pick that no one will fault. If they take this guy and he doesn't pan out, no one's going to be mad, because he is the sure and doubt after Marvin Harrison. He is the guy. They're not going to trade because they need a guy there. There's no one else they've got on the edge, tight end or receiver. Patriots are taking Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is a bit pissed off, but hey, you can't pick where you go. Time for a new era in New England. It's a pick you have to make. Take the best weapon available. Malik Neighbors to the New England Patriots.
Okay. You're still on the clock because you got the Bears at 12 after you traded down with Denver for JJ McCarthy.
All right, so I see them also reaching for an offensive lineman. Like I said, it was either I think that it was between two guys, JC Latham or Fashanawu from Penn State, Oliniwama. Sorry if I mispronounced it wrong.
Olumuyiwa Fashanu.
Fashanu. Yep. So I think it could go either of the two. I think they go with Fashanu only because out of the two, I think he's got a little bit of a higher ceiling, but they're both good. It could have gone either or. I think if Fashanu was gone, they would have taken Latham, but they're going to go with their guy because they can pick from both. They're going to go with Fashanu.
Okay. All right. Okay. Wow, you're still picking. You got Raiders at 13.
I kind of like the blue chip nature of Penix. He works hard. He's gonna be better than Minshew. He's got all the tools. He can uplift a team. Athletically, he's where he needs to be. He's more athletic, stronger arm. Minshew can start. You can sit, and you have an excuse there to start Penix when Minshew starts stinking it up. You can speed up your rookie. You can put him out, and all the fans are going to be clapping their hands because that's what they want to see. So you're going to put bums on seats. Las Vegas needs a QB, needs to usher in that new era. I think the QB and head coach, they're on that same blue chip mindset. They're just going to want to win games. It's not about winning pretty. Michael Penix can run the ball as well, so he's going to add to that sort of dynamic offense. You've got weapons on the outside already. You've got a defense that can get hot. I think that's the trade that happens, man. I think the Raiders get Michael Penix. That's a good trade, man. Yeah.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. Michael Penix.
So
yeah.
Michael
He fits the Raiders. I can see him.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a Raider. You know what I mean? They want Raiders. And I think he's one of those guys that could be a Raider.
What you fit?
Like his style of offense is something that can work because he can pass the ball, but don't be surprised if they do that run pass option and they get aggressive with that run game. Like I said, stout defense, punishing run game with a QB that's fast, athletic, and big. And he can he has the arm to make every throw as well. So I think, and it's some excitement too. Minshew to Penix, you can hand that ball over and everyone's going to be like, yeah, no, that's fine. Minshew was only here to hold the fort. It gives the Raiders something exciting because they're not going to win anything. They're not going to win it all. You know what I mean? It gives them something exciting to look forward to in the season when Penix gets that start halfway through the season.
I'm sitting at 14 with the New Orleans Saints, and we need to go offensive tackle because if we have an issue with our right tackle around run check, who's coming back from injury and his injury is not going so well. Looking at the offensive tackle class, there's some good options out here. Troy Fautanu, Amarius Mims, JC Latham is available. The last guy we took from Alabama, Drew McMayock's rain didn't do so good. Alex Leatherwood, that was a huge overdraft by us. I'm looking at I'm looking at options, a new regime, and there's a couple of guys that are in consideration for me here, and I'm just trying to think who fits the Raider. Amarius Mims has the size, the speed, but he doesn't have the necessary game tape. Like he's only played in a few games in his college career. He doesn't have the track record of games you would like to see, but the skill set is there. Troy Fautanu is also a very interesting option for us right now. I'm looking at the draft board. We could also take Brian Thomas Jr. and keep with the Raiders routine, whereby we just take flashy stuff. But there's a new Raiders. There's a new New Orleans Saints routine. We already have our receiving core. We have good receivers on the team. We have Alvin Kamara, and we need to protect the blind side of Derek Carr because he ain't got no pocket presence. So we're gonna take Amarius Mims. We're gonna draft on huge potential. I know the last guy that we took in Trevor Penning, hoping that he pans out, didn't pan out for us. But we're gonna take Amarius Mims. He's 6'7", 6'8", and we're gonna trust that with the right tutelage, he'll come through for us. Yep.
Dilly's Colts. Hey, they got their QB.
Mm-hmm.
They've got their running back who got his contract or whatever. Defense, they need to work on a bit of a rebuild there, but I think they need a receiver because they kind of lost a guy in the offseason. They need to go get a receiver. So we're looking at like who's still available.
The best next receivers are Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell,
Yeah.
Xavier Worthy, Mr. 421, 4-yard dash.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy is good, but I'm gonna go with the pure receiver. You know, I don't want to have to overdevelop or have to build them up. I'm just gonna go with Brian Thompson Jr. Like he can
Okay.
run every route in the tree, surefire hands, surefire speed. He's good. He's fast. He's no Worthy, but he's got more than enough speed to take the lid off the defense. He can catch every ball. It's a surefire pick. Adonai, potentially more explosive, but I want a pure receiver that can do it all. I'm not just talking a yak guy, a guy where you have to scheme him the ball. I want a guy that can line up wide, be on an island, go up against your best corner and win the majority of the time if needed. So, yep.
Okay, so
Brian Thompson for Colts.
At the Seahawks, so I'm Mike McDonald, new offense, new head coach, coming from the Ravens with a great defensive track record. And I need a tone setter for my defense. There's a couple of edge guys still on the board. Dallas Turner still available. Jared Vest, Trevor Robinson, Darius Robinson, but we need a 3-tech for our defensive line to really push on and reestablish our defensive line. We're gonna go Byron Murphy.
Okay, yeah, good pick.
For the Seahawks.
It's the MO.
At 16, to really come in and give our interior and be a disruptive force for our defensive line. Here. So yeah.
Okay,
as much as it will hurt my Cardinals, but hey.
Yeah, that fits like the Seahawks MO. I think
you gotta be unbiased in these things.
Yeah, they've got a run game. They've got a QB that is built around the run game. They've got a stout defense, and I think reinforcing that defense with the players that are going to be there long term, in the interior is a smart thing to do. Who we got next? You've got Jacksonville.
Yeah, you're up.
All right, so Trent Baalke. Forget scheme fit. Forget the smart decision. I just want the genetic freaks because that's all I see. All right. So I'm just going to go through here. I'm going to pick the guys that maybe the old Raiders would have picked. It's not necessarily going to be the smartest pick. Who do Jacksonville have at wide receiver right now?
They do have a need at a wide receiver, definitely for them, and also cornerback. They also have a gap at cornerback on their roster.
Cornerback's not going to help them score points.
Okay,
Trevor Lawrence needs a running partner because they're going to try and salvage that. So there's better receivers on the board.
So they're missed out here, right? Because here's the thing: the Jacksonville might actually trade up from 17 to probably 9, ahead of Denver or maybe Malik Neighbors.
It's a bit too savvy for them, man. That's a bit too savvy, man.
Because they need a bona fide weapon for Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, I know.
And the only weapon they could have had was Brian Thomas Jr., but the Colts are definitely not trading with Jacksonville to come and take the wide receiver they want.
Yeah, the Colts need a wideout, and they're smarter than that. Like, Jacksonville is going to be glued to where they're at. They ain't going nowhere. But here's the thing. I think they go with a wide receiver. There's only 2 guys really, and he's gonna go with the metrics, the wow guy. He ran a 40. Like, I can sell that. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for the Jags, they're gonna take Xavier Worthy. And I think
really
it's gonna help
Xavier Worthy at 17.
Yeah, I think this is vintage Trent Baalke, like Trent Baalke GM play. So he'll always take the specimen.
So you think
always take someone with crazy metrics that might fit their offense or defense, but it never pans out.
So you think he's gonna talk himself and think Xavier Worthy is gonna be Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, absolutely.
5'11", 5'10".
Absolutely.
Fast.
Absolutely.
He's
gonna take Xavier Worthy.
All right.
And the rest is history. Xavier Worthy will play well. He'll work well. But
okay, I'll give you Xavier Worthy. Take him.
Xavier Worthy's gone. So the wide receiver. Who have we got next? We got the Bengals.
Yeah, you got Cincinnati. I'm picking for the Bengals.
We saw just before you go, we saw what our guy Amon-Ra St. Brown went for. They ain't keeping both of them. They ain't paying both.
No, they ain't. We don't need to force a wide receiver pick if it's not there, because you've already got one. Jamar Chase is always going to consistently produce, and we're going to pay him. over T. Higgins. That's how it's gonna be. So, the way I see it, there's some interesting offensive linemen like Troy Fatano, J.C. Latham is there, who could be a guy for us. But I think I'm gonna look on the defensive side of the ball. We lost D tackle DJ Reader, so we have a clear need on our defensive line. At DT, there is Jason Newton, Brandon Fisk. There's some guys there. Dallas Turner is there. The edge guys are good. A cornerback, there's some good pieces at cornerback. And if we look at offense, on the board right now, the value is wide receiver and offensive tackle. Those are the options here. But
Keep Joe Burrow up,
it
right?
pays me to do this. But the way the board has fell, we need to go with our biggest need here. And I'm gonna take Jason Newton, D tackle from Illinois, one of the best top two defensive tackles in the draft, and show up the interior. He'll work magic under Lou Amurama, defensive coordinator, and we're gonna get a defense, and we're gonna go hunt Patrick Mahomes and try to beat him again because he can't beat us.
That's true. Yep, you've got to prepare. You've got to try and stop the guys ahead of you as well. I think that's a good pick. He's the type of player, Newton, that would have probably gone top 6 any other year. But like I said, there's a lot of team with needs, and it's an explosive draft on offense with QB needy teams, wide receiver needy teams, and talent at the wide receiver position that sort of forced him down. But this is really good value. I think this is a win. This is a very good win. If the Bengals can get a caliber of interior defensive lineman like that at 18, that's really good. That's an A grade from me, 100%. All right, so next up we've got the Rams. So Aaron Donald's retired, which leaves a void on that defensive line. He's the glue that kind of held that defense together, to be honest. Because I think deep down, if he wasn't there, there would be the linebackers would be exposed, the corners would be exposed. But he's the constant force. Like, you can't really replace what a lot of people say is, I mean, in terms of interior defensive linemen, it's him and Reggie. Preference will come, but you can't really replace that type of player. But you need to try and take a step, maybe through different personnel, to try and fill that void. So I think you're going to try and get like an edge rusher or someone that can put pressure on other teams. So I'm probably going to go with, I'm going to say an edge rusher as opposed to interior, because that's very hard to replace. There aren't a lot of guys like that.
Yeah, Dallas Turner, Jared Vest, Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson.
I think you go with defensive line. I think you go with someone that can put their hand in the dirt. Chop Robinson is good. I'd probably go with with Dallas Turner, only because I know, like I said, I know what I'm getting. Alabama, well coached. You know what you're going to get. His foundation is that he can start and play. Plus, physically, he has a lot more of an upside, which means he can, like, his ceiling is potentially higher. Don't get me wrong, Jared Verse is good, but playing at Florida State, he's going to be a guy that has to hit right and land on the right scheme to really make an impact right off the bat. With Aaron Donald gone, there's a massive hole on that defense, and you've got to start to fulfill that line. I'm going to go with Dallas Turner and turn the page on that defensive front with someone that can hopefully try and rebuild the unit as a whole rather than through one player. So next we got Steelers.
So I'm gonna Pittsburgh Steelers. And ideally we would have loved to have added a piece to our defensive line, but all the top defensive line that we need at this stage is gone. Our edges are good. We've got fantastic edges. We don't really have a need on that side of the ball. Could go cornerback here because we've got Terran Arnold, Quinion Mitchell is a guy that we could take to add to a bona fide cornerback core. But I think we're going to go offense. We're going to shore up the offensive line. We're going to ensure that Russ and Justin can cook. We're going to try and give Russ some protection on our offensive line. And looking at the options that are available to us, Steelers are gonna go with J.C. Latham from Alabama to come in there. He looks like the typical Raider or Steeler look, one of those players that fit these historic franchises, and this is a great value to get J.C. Latham at number 20 to come and
Crazy
open up
value.
holes for our running back who's also from Alabama.
Who has yet to produce, but hey, we'll see. Cool. So next up, we've got Miami. Okay, so they want to keep Tua upright. That is their number one goal. I think they go offensive line. Receivers, they've got what they need. Running backs, they got what they need. Their defense could do with improvements, but if you look at who they drafted last year with Phillip from Miami, they've got a good cornerstone to build from. They can develop those players. They need to keep him upright. Obviously, left tackles. Who do we have left that's on the board? I might go with a guard as well.
So you've got Troy Fatanu, who's a left tackle. You've got Graham Barton, who can play all 5 positions across the offensive line. He's very versatile.
Yep.
There's Tyler Guyton. There's Jackson Powers-Johnson.
Part of me wants to go with like interior because I think
If you
Tua,
want to
like
go to interior, your best guys are Graham Barton and Jackson Powers-Johnson.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with Graham Barton more. Who's the one that can play multiple positions?
Graham Barton.
Graham Barton, yep. So I'm gonna go with Graham Barton. You can start him inside, and if he shows promise, you can move him out. But that gives you time to sort of build that offensive line through free agency and maybe in like future drafts as well. So you start him inside. Remember, when teams attack Tua, they always say pressure up the middle. He's undersized, so he can see the guys coming from the outside, but it's the pressure up the middle that interrupts. So I think they go with Graham Barton here, get a guard that can start day one and push on from there. So I think that's a smart pick. They need to keep him upright because when he can play upright, he'll bust your head open. Like he can, no pun intended. He can take the lid off the offense. You know what I mean?
All right.
I didn't think about that. All right.
Okay, number 22. I get to pick that, but I'm gonna swap that with you and pick a 27 for my Cardinals. So I'll reserve this right to you. Take on the Howie hat and pick 22 for your Eagles, and I'll pick 27 for my Cardinals.
Lane Johnson is still with the team. He's the right tackle. He can kind of play left, but he's not like a premier left tackle. We always like to build through the O-line in the draft, and we take guys high because even if they don't pan out for our team, because we've got that crazy depth, we can move them on. We can gain an asset. That's how Howie works. But so far, what's happening is both our corners are fairly old. We've got obviously Slay. He's old in the tooth. He got his money, but he's not going to be the long-term future at corner. He's probably got another maybe 2 years at best with us. And then obviously on the other side,
Bradbury.
Yep, James Bradbury. Okay, so he's fairly long in the tooth as well. So I think we're probably going to go with a safe pick here. We're just going to take the best player available at that position. It's very rare that you can get a player of this caliber, the best in this draft at that position this late in the draft. So this is a win for our Eagles. It's great value.
It is. All the cornerbacks are available. Terrion Arnold, Quinion Mitchell, Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid McKinstry. The top 4 guys are all available. Eagles get to pick the first cornerback off the board.
Yep. So we're going to go with Quinion Mitchell, man. We're just going to take the number 1 corner. The days of us trying to overthink things, we're just going to take the guy that's going to come in, plug and play. He's probably going to start off in the nickel, but we're going to sort of move him and rotate him. And he's got time. There's no rush to get him out. He can develop and learn because you've got 2 guys that can start. And then we can slowly phase him in until he's a starter. So yeah, Quinion Mitchell, this is a fairly straightforward, nothing sexy from Howie. This is just going to be a stay put, get what we can get. All right.
Okay. All right.
Who we have next?
So 23 Patriots, go. This is a second pick because they traded down, so they end up having 2 picks. Draft.
So
let me remind you, took Malik Neighbors 11.
Malik Neighbors. So they've got their guy there. You don't have to sell a QB to the Patriots. They know that this is a rebuild year. All right. I think we go back to offense. I mean, we've got they have tight ends over there that can play that have kind of like been held back. So I don't think they go with tight end. They've got their receiver.
Where the tight end left.
They've got their receiver. I'm thinking offensive line. They need to build that up. So that's like a choice too. Defense,
Mhm.
though, like what are they sort of looking at on defense? Also,
On
looking at their
defense,
division, who have they got?
they've on defense they got some guys now, but on the edge, Jared Vest is still available. Chop Robinson is available. Darius Robinson is available.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Who
on the offensive line, you've got Troy Fatano is available, first round guy. Tyler Guyton, Jackson Powers Johnson
yeah.
is
So it's either going to
available as
be
well.
offensive line or defense. So who are the QBs in that division? You've got Tua, you've got Josh Allen. Jets.
Jets, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so you need someone that can get to these guys because all of those guys, if they have time, they will do so, and they have playmakers on offense that can get it done. Not so much the Bills,
They
but you
have three
need
very
someone that
good
can get the
corners
pressure.
still available in Terran Arnold, Nate Wiggins, Kule McKinstry. So there is some cornerbacks that
You've
are
got to
still
win in the
available.
trenches with these teams.
Okay. All
Miami
right.
can run the ball and pass it. You've got to win in the trenches first. So I think they probably go with
Jared Vest.
defensive lineman. Yep, Jared Verse. He's got upside. He's one of the best guys available right now. I don't think they go with because I think a lot of teams are viewing Chop as a linebacker. I think that's the reality. They're viewing him as a linebacker, and you can't justify taking a linebacker this high. Don't get me wrong, he's gonna be really good, but he's a second round or tail end of the first. Great value if you can get him at the end of the first, but I think a lot of teams are looking at him as a linebacker. So I'm gonna go with Jared Verse. And so far it's a good draft. They've got offense, they've got like
picking for the Cowboys. I'm Jerry Jones. I always pick for the Cowboys in the first round. We're looking at it. There are a couple of options here. I could take Chop Robinson at 24 right now, pair him up with Micah Parsons, have the two Penn State guys go hand callbacks for me. But right now I need this on the offensive line. We lost Tyron Smith.
Yeah, true. It's a new age in Dallas.
We lost our center. We didn't replace our center. Tyler Biadash, the Washington Commanders.
Yep.
And I know we're gonna kick Tyler Smith to left tackle because he played good at left guard, so he has the versatility to play left tackle and be good there. So the Dallas Cowboys are gonna pick Jackson Powers Johnson, JPJ, Taylor made to play offensive guard. He's offensive be our center going forward. I think he's better than Tyler Biadash. And he's gonna come in and protect Dak Prescott for us.
Yeah, that's a smart pick. That's a typical Dallas pick under the new regime. So you've got obviously Jerry Jones and his brother. Sorry, is it his brother who's basically running the draft now? And you can see because it's sensible picks. Jerry would have been like, man, I need like a star court. I need like a star linebacker. I need like a star running back. That would have been the old Jerry. But now that's a sensible pick. So I'm not really going to argue with that. I think that's a fair choice. Who do we have next? Is it Green Bay?
Yeah, you have Green Bay.
Green Bay. So I'm not too versed on Green Bay. Like in terms of their need, obviously they need corners,
linebacker and cornerbacks. They do need corners. There's.
But the thing with Green Bay is they develop corners very well in Green Bay.
They do, but they still do take some in the first round. So looking at where the board has fell, the edge options: Chop Robinson, Darius Robinson. They are more towards the later end, second round. Early second round guys.
Historically, like Green Bay always develop their secondary really well. So they can maybe take a guy later in the draft.
And then they've got Terran Arnold, Nate Wiggins, Kule McKinstry. Some of the cornerbacks there, they've got Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, so there's options for them. They can always trade up in second round maybe to try and get the guy that they want, but they can develop corners really well historically. They've always had a good pedigree of corner play. They're going to get that linebacker now. There is Chop. Who else is available? Is Latu's off the board, right? I believe.
Yeah, but Chop
Latu's off the board. Yep. So I reckon they go with Chop.
Robinson.
I think they go with Chop. Like I said, they need someone that can pressure the QB. He's got speed, athleticism. He's their guy. I think he goes before Lewis only because of his edge rush ability. Because Green Bay have shown that they can get into the playoffs, they can get deep in the playoffs with a young QB. What they need now is someone that can rush the passer. I think they could have gone either way. I think they go with Chop here.
I'm picking for the Bucks at 26.
Tampa Bay.
And Tampa Bay was hoping to have an edge rusher. We were hoping to have Chop Robinson probably be available, but now he's off the board. So probably gonna there's not much here, and the board has felt kind of like a bit weird. And getting Terran Arnold at 26 is incredible value for Tampa Bay. The way the board has felt. There's also Troy Fatanu, but what we really needed was an edge player. All the top edge options have gone. There's a possibility that if I don't take this player right now, we are gonna miss out on him, and I won't have him in the second round. It could be a little bit of an overdraft, but at this point, he's probably the top edge available right now in this draft by what he showed at the combine and stuff. So Tampa Bay is gonna go. We're gonna pick Darius Robinson, edge from Missouri. Arizona on the clock at 27. I think Monty, if the board felt like this, Monty Austinford would be ecstatic. There's a cornerback sitting right there that's tailor-made for Jonathan Gannon's defense. Run a 4.5 at the combine. He is a typical with all the makings of what we need for our offense. But there's a conflict in here, right? Because there's Terran Arnold, Nick Wiggins, and then there's also Cooper DeJean, the cornerback / safety hybrid from Iowa. I think at 27, my Arizona Cardinals, we're gonna take Terran Arnold, cornerback from Alabama. At 28, Buffalo Bills, we need a weapon, so we're gonna take Adonai Mitchell. At 28, we are so happy that he fell to our spot at 28. Crazy. We thought the Chiefs or maybe the 49ers might jump us to get him, but we are happy that the Chiefs didn't jump us to 26 or 25 to take him, and we're happy to take Adonai Mitchell to come in and replace. We're happy with that.
Detroit. So I think they recently got their defensive lineman of the future. Offensively, they've got weapons, receivers, they've got tight ends, they've got their QB. I see them.
A big make for them.
Pardon? Corner, yep, corner. So I'm looking at CB, what cornerback wise, I'm looking at the guys that are available. We've got Kool-Aid McKinstry as well from Alabama. I think that's a possibility. He's someone that can start straight away. So I think that's where they go. They fill a need on the team because they, like I said, they're right there. They've got pieces. They can go the difference. They can go the distance. Kool-Aid, yep. So Kool-Aid is off the board.
Okay.
All right.
We've got Baltimore Ravens. Available. Our top needs. We could go corner at this point. We could go best player available at this point. There's an offensive lineman here who's very an interesting player as well. Troy Fatanu could be an interesting player.
Very good value at 30. Is it 30? 30. That's crazy value. That's like top 15 value.
But they need an offensive tackle. The way the board has felt at this point, when you pick here between a second round pick, there's not much difference.
It's just need, yeah.
I think Baltimore at 30, we're gonna pick. It's suspense, but I'm gonna call an audible here at number 30. I know Baltimore sometimes when they are 30, they trade back into the second round to get more picks here because they don't have a tremendous need here. There's a player that's still on the board that interest and the opportunity came up, and Monty Austinford, GM of the Arizona Cardinals, will call Baltimore. We're gonna propose a trade here. Arizona. We're gonna come up here. We're gonna make a trade with Baltimore. We're gonna offer Baltimore a 35th overall pick, a second round pick, for Baltimore's 30, and we're gonna give them pick 66, and pick 104. So we're gonna give him 3 picks for pick 30. Trade has been accepted, so Arizona is now on the clock at 30.
Yep.
This is a 3rd round pick. And this is an incredible value, and I can't believe this player fell down the board all the way to number 30. He shouldn't have. So we're going to make a move for Troy Fatanu,
very good
offensive tackle from Washington who can also play as a left guard within our system to come in and show up for Kyler Murray here. So we made a trade to come up and get Troy Fortan. San Francisco at 31. Your move. I couldn't let him fall to the 49ers. No.
Yeah. Okay. So 49ers right now, like I said, they're a fairly complete team. They've got good defense, good offense. Right now, it's basically just trying to get the best player available in terms of value.
The 49ers, look at the board, there's Nate Wiggins, who's a first-round cornerback. That's 4 to 31. That's a good option for them. They have a need a cornerback.
Okay, yeah. I think they go with
And there's
corner.
also Cooper DeJean if they want Cooper DeJean too.
I think they just go with corner. I think they take
Which
Nate.
one?
I think they take Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they just go corner, fill a position of need. But I think on the actual day there'll be a trade.
At 32, the Chiefs. I get the last pick.
They get a weapon. They got guys they can get. Give them a weapon.
So looking at there, there's Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman, who's available, Troy Franklin, Malachi Corley, Ricky Perez. So there are receivers that we can have, but we want to keep Patrick Mahomes upright. So we believe that this player has slipped because he didn't test while the combine, but he's a football player. So we're going to go with offensive tackle Jordan Morgan from Arizona.
Good draft. Interesting. You know, we
Yeah,
had some teams
it
trade
is
up.
interesting.
It's going to be, I think this is one of the more interesting drafts because we've got like a spread out of talent and you've got teams that are going to, like I said, there's not like surefire QBs that are all going to go. Like some teams might be putting up a smoke screen. So it's really going to be interesting to see how it goes forward. But yeah, awesome. Well done, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, that was a good video. We can't wait for the actual draft night. You know, we should all be there. I think in the UK for us, it's going to go live at like 1 a.m. in the morning. So it is early. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to sort of see how the chips fall.